Hello, everybody. I'm Wild Chevy. I'm joined by Rocket Yeti, and you guys are watching the Atomic Salt Live Show. How's it going, Casey?
Oh, I'm doing great. A little bit of pain. I've got a little bit of back trouble, but nothing a little bit of better living through chemistry can't solve. So if I'm a little loopy, it's just the drugs talking.
Uh, Sorry, guys, for last weekend. It was the 4th of July, Independence Day here in America. Casey was off on a vacation, and I was at a fantasy convention.
Oh, that's right,
So
FantasyCon. How did that work out?
it
Sorry,
was
I'm
a
derailing this
very,
already.
eh, it was a very nice convention. Wore my throat out a little bit, just talking to a lot of people. It was like a Ren fair without the Renaissance.
Did you cosplay?
No, I didn't, but I did make a prop for a cosplayer. If anybody's familiar with the anime Kill la Kill, I did the scissor blade for a cosplayer. Maybe I should
Never
actually do
even
an
heard of
article
it.
about that for my site.
You should. That would be cool. So, but speaking of conventions, we've got Gen Con coming up, right?
Indeed.
Uh, you're going to be heading out to that, doing some reporting for Beasts of War, right?
Yeah, they officially announced it, so hopefully it all goes through.
So now you're on the hook for it.
True.
Oh, so what kind of stuff are you doing to get ready for Gen Con?
Uh,
Well, go ahead.
this is going to be first year for entering painting competition, so I'm working towards that. Um, but normally it's just this will be year 3 for me, and it's a real struggle to get everything ready because you have to pack everything you need to go.
Okay, so as you said, this is your third year. What, as a going for your third time, what would you tell yourself in the past going for your first
Going with friends is great. It reduces cost because if you're going there, it's staying at a hotel. Might as well get a few extra people with you to cut the cost on that. It also gives you somebody to hang out with and talk to. Also, if you're driving, it's great. Flying, I mean, like I said, you'll have somebody to talk to other than a stranger. Plan everything you can ahead of time. Gen Con does an event system, so you have to sign up for tickets ahead of time. So you don't want to do too much that you'll burn yourself out. You'll never see everything. That's the big thing. You will never see everything at the convention. There's too much going on.
So do you think, because yeah, Gen Con is huge. Like you said, you can't see everything. Should you even try, or should you really just try and set like some small goals for yourself? I want to see game X, Y, Z. I want to spend Y amount of hours on the floor. Or do you just
Um,
kind of just let it free flow?
like first day, you're gonna blow all your money. That's usually when the vendors have their convention exclusive stuff. So you hit up that first. Um, Spend as much money as you can on everything you find shiny, and then the rest of the weekend you go and look at the stuff that you enjoy. So you're there for a reason, and you want to go check out the events and everything. That talk to the people of the creators of your games.
Okay, so be sure.
The other big thing is a lot of these conventions have hotels, and a lot of hotels have shipping services. So if you don't want to pack everything back into your bag, you can FedEx or UPS it back to your home. Saves on packing everything on the flight home.
Okay, so one thing that Gen Con kind of advertises itself as is it's good for the whole family. In your experience, is that true? Because there's definitely conventions I've been to where I would not take the kids.
Uh, so like on the floor, the main floor, a lot of different um, genres of stuff. You got RPG games on one side, tabletop games. There's kid areas. Um, a lot of different vendors and artists. They have an artist alley. And that's just on that part. They have a gaming area that's open 24 hours, so you could pick up a game with anybody uh, the whole event. And if you're somebody who has an eclectic game nobody ever heard of, you can bring it there. Somebody will play it with you. They have True Dungeon. It's a little like a real life RPG.
Okay,
So yeah, there's something for everybody there.
okay, good deal. Is there anything like I know some people take backpacks or camelbacks. Is there anything that you would suggest?
Yeah, take a bag. You can't carry it all. Don't suggest you try carrying it all. Backpack, keep water in there, a snack bar, um, maybe with some wet wipes for a refreshing shower during the day.
That's what we call the hooker truck stop bath right there.
Yep. Uh, and if you have to go to the bathroom, don't put it off. I've seen a lot of people just booking it across the floor to say, I need to go to the bathroom. You have to go, because those lines, you don't want to embarrass yourself.
Okay, so prep-wise, what you said you're going to be entering into the painting competition. What are you bringing with? What are you, or do you want to even disclose that at this point?
Uh, do my Kithkar for the Privateer Press, which it's separate from the Gen Con painting competition. That's one of the things I'm doing. Um, the Gen Con competition, I'm not sure yet. I did look and see today that they have uh, Super Dungeon Explorer, or actually anything through Ninja Division. So now that I've got Relic Knights, maybe if I have time, maybe I'll throw together a Relic Knight and paint him up for the show.
Hey, I've got a couple of models that need painting, that are pretty sweet if you want to enter those in. I will totally let you paint those up for me.
It's all about time. I've got
Come
30
on.
days left,
I,
so
I know you want to paint my Ajax up. So. All right, well, we're talking about conventions. Uh, another one, Feast of Blades. That's one that I've been going to. They've just released their ticket sales. Uh,
that's in Denver, right?
right. It is in Denver, Colorado. It's the second weekend of October. And unlike Gen Con, which is kind of all more board games, or all games in general, Feast of Blades is a lot more oriented towards strategic tabletop game with miniatures. So I think they're really trying to set themselves up as like one of the like another version of Adepticon.
Okay.
So they include other stuff like Warmachines and Infinity. Because actually for Infinity, Denver is one of the hot spots in the nation. So I think they have one of the biggest, strongest groups out there. But they've changed things up a little bit this year.
Oh, how's that?
So last year, me and a friend we competed in a doubles tournament, and it was you buy your doubles tournament ticket and you're in, and you're good to go. And it was one ticket per team. This year, it is now one ticket per person on the team, so each teammate is going to have to buy their own ticket. And on top of that, you now have to buy a convention day pass or multiple day pass, depending on what event you have. So paying for the event doesn't get you in. Now this isn't dissimilar. There's a lot of other conventions that do that.
Yeah, Gen Con does that as
However,
well. You have to pay for events.
GenCon does that. Adepticon does that. I don't know if the Bay Area Open, I don't know if Las Vegas Open does it the same way, but it's not uncommon. However, what it has done is, whereas last year it was about $25 per person to enter into the doubles tournament, it is now going to cost you $75 per person. So they've tripled the cost of it. Now, I can understand a few reasons why they might want to up the cost. I mean, because don't get me wrong, those guys put on a great show last year. They had a lot of great stuff. There's a lot of good support. A lot of people showed up. However, it is really, really hard to try and talk people into spending that kind of money to go somewhere out of state if you're not playing in the ultra competitive leagues.
Now, do you feel it kind of would lock somebody in? I mean, you're paying for that much money. You can actually go to the event, not just go just and drop out.
Sure, yeah. Getting people to pay up front is always a good way to try and get them locked in. But it also could scare off a lot of your more casual players. I think, whereas before it was cheap enough you could say, I'm going to grab a bunch of buddies and we're going to go have a guys' weekend out in Denver. You're starting to get it more expensive enough that you have to really rethink that. And someone who's operating on a budget might think twice about it and might hesitate. So it's a double-edged sword. You might get more people to commit up front, but then again, you might lose more people up front as well.
Now, this is an event that you've gone to actually for competing. How's the logistics for that, for taking your army?
You mean transporting it, or?
Yeah.
Okay, so it's really not bad. We drove out there last year. It's only about a 7 or 8 hour drive for us, so that wasn't too bad. I actually, all of my bases are magnetized, so I can just throw them in the trunk. I can take that box upside down, shake them around, and they're not going to go anywhere. So that's not overly difficult. And they do it at a hotel, so you can literally just keep all of your stuff up in your hotel room, and then it's just a short elevator ride down to the gaming tables. So it's really friendly for all of that.
So I've seen a lot of people with the movement trays at conventions. I mean, do you have to plan ahead to make sure you have everything, even like super glue?
Yeah, without a doubt. Basically, anytime you're playing any kind of tournament game where you're going to be moving from table to table to table, and it's a timed sort of thing, you're going to want to have some way of moving around. A movement tray is a great way to do that because you can just throw everything right down there. I kind of used the box that I brought everything in. It might not have been the fastest or easiest solution. There's a lot of companies out there that make custom movement trays depending on your game. So, and it also depends on the size of your army. I mean, if you're only playing Infinity and you've got maybe 10 models, it's going to be quite a bit easier. Versus if you've got like Horde army and you've got 200 plus models. Your solutions are going to be very different for those two models. So you should be aware, anytime you're going to take your army and you're going to play, be aware of those sorts of things. Like, how are you going to move from table to table? What are you going to do if you drop a model and it breaks? What are you going to do if you misplace your tape measure? So it sounds weird, but packing stuff up and unpacking it 2 or 3 times in a row is not bad exercise to go through a couple weeks before you go. Just so you understand what you're doing, you get into a rhythm.
Now, how is it playing outside of your meta? I mean, this is a bigger tournament. There's going to be a lot of people from different areas, different play styles. How was that in your experience?
So you're going to run into a couple of different kinds of players there. I mean, obviously you're going to see stuff that's outside of your local meta, and that really just depends on what your local meta is. If you play an ultra competitive uh, type atmosphere where you're down at the game store and you're seeing different armies every different week, it might not be too different for you. But if you're playing in a small gaming group, where you're only seeing half a dozen people consistently with those same armies and builds, it's going to be quite a shock to you. And just to give you a feel, this is a competitive environment, and they are drawing people from all over the country. I doubt they hold anybody from outside of the United States, but if they did, good for them. And so it kind of ran the gamut. Since this was a friendly league that we were playing in, we saw ultra competitive. We saw, excuse me, that was the drugs. We saw an ultra competitive Tau Eldar army, and they were just sweeping the table left and right. And to the point where the guys were actually starting to apologize for it as they were looking around and seeing what everybody else had brought. And what it's going to be this year, who knows at this point. It might be an Eldar Dark Eldar type setup. But then you're also going to see the people who are just playing ultra fun. We saw guys who were taking Blood Angels and Tau, and they were far and away not competitive. They did just fine, but it's an army that you would never really think to see on the table together. So, and I'm rambling now. Thank you, Travis. But anyways, yeah. So Future Blades have changed up their pricing. I think it's going to be interesting to see how that affects their attendance this year. Maybe it'll carry the momentum from last year because, like I said, they ran a great event. Or maybe they're not going to have near as many people signing up, and maybe they want it that way. Maybe they thought that last year was too big.
Well, it's always interesting to see. I know here in the local area, here in Utah, there is a tournament, a grand tournament they're going to try building up here soon called the City Gladiator Games. And this is year one for them, so we'll see how that goes. And hey, it might expand into a larger event. So,
do you know what events they're going to be having or running?
I believe it's going to be Warmachine Masters tournament. It's a 2-day event, Friday and Saturday. They'll also have other Warmachine events going on. They'll have a 40K tournament, Magic the Gathering tournament, and then I think a few extra. I haven't seen anything cemented in stone yet.
Any chance that they'll have a painting competition to go along with it?
Yes, I believe so. From looking at their site, they got the local painting group guys, Geek Garage. They'll be down there doing their self-dwarf competition, which I believe you won a bronze?
I did last year. Well, 6 months ago. So we'll see if I can maybe sharpen my skills a little bit and bring something new to the table. I'd love to bring back another piece of hardware. Funny story, my wife was actually impressed by it. She generally considers this to be an immature hobby, but when you win an award for it, it kind of makes up for it.
She's impressed by small things. All right. In other news,
yeah, I'm not even going after that one.
All right, let's run down let's do the weekly recap. In Games Workshop news, we saw after the 6-week wave of orcs, they finally announced, or they've been announcing a campaign system, or yeah, narrative campaign. Last week they released the book. This week they announced the Sanctus Reach Stormclaw, which is a two-player narrative set.
Yeah, and I think that this is actually a really great thing for them. They've said time and time again that this is going to be a limited edition set, so grab it while the getting's good. I think that's a stupid idea, considering that it's really just made up of only 2 unique characters and, spurs that they're maintaining anyways. So this isn't replacing Dark Vengeance or anything like that. But if they're to keep it alongside Dark Vengeance and they start coming out with more of these campaign boxes, you could actually give people a number of starter set choices. Which, the more choices you have available, the better. I'm sure there's been at least one person out there who's looked at Dark Vengeance and said, nah, I'm not really sure I'm into Dark Angels and Chaos, and might have walked away from the game because of that.
It's also interesting. This is the first box that'll have the mini rules, the mini rule book for 7th edition. They haven't updated yet for Dark Vengeance.
And I'm thinking about buying it for just that by itself.
So, I mean, they've said they're going to update Dark Vengeance for 7th edition. Have not yet done it yet, so guess we'll see.
So, I don't know. What about you, Chevy? Are you going to pick it up?
I don't think so. Maybe if I knew an orc player who'd be interested in those models. I don't know anybody. I don't play Space Wolves. I mean, they're supposedly the next army that gets updated, so I'm not sure yet.
Well, I've looked at Space Wolves for a long time, and so in addition to the mini 7th ed book, I'm kind of interested in that. But yeah, it'll be interesting. It's all about trying to find another person to split that box with. But if Space Wolves are the next army, then this is a really great thing for them. Another reason to keep it around. It kind of serves as like a bridge product for the Space Wolves. A way to, if you get orc players might be interested in this box and they say, hey, look, I can get all these great orc models for a really good price. And then all of a sudden, wow, I've got these Space Wolf models. I don't know what to do with them. Oh, well, hey, look, I add in like 1 extra box or 2 extra boxes. And now all of a sudden I have an allied force. And hey, there's a brand new codex coming out. So it would seem like a really natural way to try and increase sales with the fan base. And try and get people into armies that they don't already play. So, but what does GW know about business? So.
Yeah, I mean, it's part of their narrative. They've said before they've taken out the competitive. They're not openly supporting a competitive system. That this is meant to be narrative set. So this is the first narrative expansion for their 7th edition, and we'll see how it goes.
Well, a lot of people have been crying that 6th edition, 7th edition is really not a competitive edition. It's not good for tournaments. And I actually think that's a good thing. I don't think that 40K has ever really been great for tournaments. And the reason I say that is you can see so many different tournament organizers. They're coming up with their own set of rules, their own tweaks to it. They're really trying to shoehorn 40K into a competitive environment, which just tells me it's not a product meant for it. Mm-hmm. We've tried to take a non-competitive game and make it competitive. And really, I think there's a lot better games out there. Warmachines, Hordes is a lot more balanced. I think Infinity is a lot more balanced. It sounds horrible, but I would like to see 40K tournaments go away. I'm sure people are going to scream at me and call me all sorts of names, but I really think that would be
do that in the comments.
Yeah. Flame on, people.
If you disagree with Rocky Eddie, put it in the comments down below.
So, but speak about Warm Hordes. What's new with these guys next?
Let's see. This week, Privateer Press has released their new, they announced their new book, Exigence. Let me put up a screen cap on this. All right, we got Exigence. It's the new book for the Hordes. We just had the new book for Warmachine. So this will have new update for casters and a few new units. And we have here is the new Circle Warlock.
Ooh, very nice.
This is resin and white metal, so it'll be pretty interesting to see in person. It's a very nice, big-looking Warlock.
I would hate to try and put that model together. If that is really resonant metal.
Cool. Yeah, it looks pretty cool. Yeah,
it looks great.
It'd be interesting to see how heavy it is and how easy it is to pack into a battle foam case. And then next we have the Heavy War Beast for Legion. Nice little evil flying creature that'll haunt your dreams.
Looks just like a Tyranid.
Yep. And this is going to be all in plastic, so no longer metal wings to worry about.
Gosh,
we have the
more I look at it, that's really just. I was giving them so many props from that last model, but now I'm looking at this. It's just a rip-off of the Tyranid.
Tyranid. Well, that's Legion. Legion's very beastie looking in general. I'd almost say that looks like the Beast from Pitch Black with Vin Diesel.
Yeah, I definitely see that. But when I look at the tail and I look at the wings, it just screams Tyranid, like in the way it's designed. It just really feels like, yeah, and then the way they've got the chitin running down the tail. Yeah, it just feels like a knockoff. So there you go. Use that as your high prone or your healthy substitution.
And then we have Yaga, who's a Gatorman Warlock. This is interesting. I really commend the sculptor on this one. It is a very odd model, but it looks pretty cool. It's a female gator with a undead snake beast.
Oh my. Yeah, I gotta hand it to him. It's definitely unique. So, and technically, it's very well done.
Yeah.
I'm not sure it's my style, but I can't knock him for quality.
Let's see. Then we have I think here's another War Beast. This probably goes along with the nerf. This is probably a multi-kit. And then we have Borka, Vengeance of the Rimshaws. This is an excellent looking miniature. Nothing like a troll riding a bear into battle. And look at the backplate on the bear. That is some detail.
Oh my. Is this metal?
This is a resin and white metal. And then lastly, we have the Paingiver squad. Just a group of guys for Scorn. But all these will be released here soon in the next couple of months for Hordes.
Cool. So, so moving on to Infinity, we've got Beast of War is doing another Infinity Week coming up. Looks like they're going
It
to be
starts this week. Is it this week or next week?
I think it's next week. I thought it was the end of July. But the whole week is going to be focusing around Operation Ice Spirit. We've talked about that a couple of times in the past. So that's going to be the new Infinity starter box.
So we'll finally get to see what everything's inside.
I got to hand it to Beast War. They do a great job with their 3 weeks. We can definitely expect to see a lot of guys from Infinity demoing the game. They'll be talking to us about how the units work. Beast War and Infinity just have a really good relationship. And it really makes these 3 weeks into something special.
Well, so the first Infinity Week is how I got into the game.
And I got in right around the second. So, then also, going back to Gen Con, they're going to be bringing a couple of unique models there. One of them we've talked about before is the Pencileia bootleg sculpt, which I'm in love with.
And if you've watched Beast of War The Weekender this weekend, they actually explain why she looks like an American biker. And it's all due to Carlos. There's the biker rally at Indianapolis during Gen Con. So he got hooked on those guys, and he turned your favorite little Amazon into a Harley driving biker chick.
Which is the way she should have always been from the beginning. So I'm very happy with that sculpt. So I don't think there's any way I could be unhappy with it. Now, before you go away from Infinity Fanboy, I gotta say, their other one, their cosplay mini, it's a Neoterran Bolts alternate sculpt. Looks horrible.
Well, what we've seen so far is the 3D render. This is Tabitha Lyons. She's gonna be the cosplayer at the Infinity booth, and this is I guess she liked the Neoterra bolts so much she wanted to do a cosplay costume, and they invited her to Gen Con to show it off. So this is the 3D sculpt version of her. We haven't seen the miniature yet, so hopefully we'll see a preview of that here soon. Maybe it'll look better for you.
We'll see, because, I mean, bolts are great looking models. Tabitha is a lovely young lady. Their 3D render of her looks like a man with a mop on his head. I mean, it's just horrible. I look at that and I'm almost shocked that Corvus Belli is putting this out, because I feel this is so far below their standards. Maybe it's just because they were rushing something to get it out, but I really, really hope you're right, and seeing the actual physical model, looks better than what we've seen so far. Because Corvus Belli, you should be ashamed. I know you can do better. I love you guys so much. I'll have your baby, but as long as it's not this one.
Oh, fair enough. Like I said, it's going to be a wait and see. It'd be interesting to see Tabitha Lyons at Gen Con. Looking forward to getting to talk with her. And
yeah, take lots of pictures.
Oh, of course.
So, get her phone number for us.
Did you see the Spitfire? Her and her company made for the Interplanetary tournament.
Oh yeah, it looks phenomenal.
If you guys out there, if you haven't looked it up, go to Artie Farks. I'll put a link in the description below, and you can see how cool it looks. And if you're the lucky winner, send us photos.
Also at the interplanetary tournament, not only we were told for a while that Operation Ice Storm was going to be one of the prizes to the winner. Actually, everybody at the tournament will be able to buy it. So it's coming, and it's coming soon. I would be surprised if we actually saw it released here within the next month.
So yeah, pre-orders for that one starts at the end of the month. It goes until the end of August. So get out there now and get your copy.
All right. So do we have anything else?
Let's see. Nothing. Hawk War Games, Drop Zone Commander. They've been teasing us this past few weeks, showing off the Resistance, then the new faction for Drop Zone. And
these guys
it's
are
very cool.
really good. They came out with an amazing starter box, and they just kept on hitting the nail on the head. These guys have done very well. All their stuff looks great. They supported their community well. So one of those companies that just keeps doing it right consistently, and I'm really happy to see that. Good on you guys.
Let's see. Anything else? Let's see. As far as Kickstarter news, there's a new game. Let's see, called Infamy. Let's take a look at that real quick. Here we go. Infamy. Welcome to the Big Smoke. It's a steampunk game, so we know you're gonna love that one, Casey.
Yep, pass.
These guys, I've seen the miniatures for these guys floating around. They actually start coming out with a game for it. Some very interesting looking miniatures. We have Nikola Tesla, Badger, John Watson, Sherlock Holmes. These two I think I like. I'm like, Kickstarter, you always try to drag me into spending more money.
Yeah, I definitely can't fault them for the quality of their miniatures. They do look beautiful. I just can't get behind steampunk.
Technology from the future, yesterday.
It just bothers me so much. So, well, if that's all we've got, I'm ready to go pass out in a drug-induced coma.
All right. Thank you guys for watching. I've been Wild Chevy. This is Rocket Yeti.
Have a good one, guys.
All right. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe. Let us know your thoughts. We'd love to hear from you. Have a good one.
Good night.